Hey guys, welcome to Sizzlin Summer Slimdown week 25. This is actually the second time I'm filming this. The first time it didn't record with sound. I'm trying my new camera that I got for my birthday, and yeah, I have to look into it a little bit more to figure out all the settings. So that's why this is also a little bit later than usual on Monday. But I will jump right in. So the most exciting part this week is that I got new running shoes. These ones are Saucony brand. They're actually the same brand as my old ones, but these ones are a year and a half old. And the reason I kind of thought of, oh, maybe I need new shoes, or how long have I had my old ones for, was that I was starting to get some knee pain in my left knee, and then my calves on my right side started hurting, or my calf on my right side. So I was like, okay, well, I am running more often, so that can contribute to it. But I was like, well, also if I don't have proper support with my running shoes, that can be a big thing that can, you know, cause injuries or make you have those pains. So I did a little bit of research online, seeing what people recommended, how often you should switch up your shoes. Obviously, there's a huge variation. If you're like a marathon runner running, you know, like whatever miles, if you're running like 20 miles every other day or something, I don't know, then you need to replace them every couple months. But on average, I read that, you know, after about 200 to 400 miles, you should probably replace them. So I've had my old ones since January 2013, and I mean, just the past 2 months, I've done 100 miles together, and then August, I'm doing 100 miles. So I was like, okay, it's time to get new shoes. And also, I wanted to make sure I still had enough time, 2 or 3 weeks before the half marathon, because right before a race is not the time to be trying anything new, whether it just be, you know, socks or a sports bra, or, you know, definitely not shoes. So I went to a running store and got fitted for these shoes. I never had any problems with my Saucony brand shoes, so I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting those. I tried on a lot of pairs. First they did an assessment of my feet. They watched me walk, which is why if you are getting into running, then it is important to actually go to a running store instead of just, you know, picking up some, you know, any old like Nikes or something. For me, fortunately, I actually have my feet are in a neutral position, so I can choose my runners. But I know when I got my last ones, I actually had, I think, a bit of an overpronation on my foot, so then I had to get, like, I could only choose certain ones. It just offered me more support just to reduce injury. Basically, I have a nice flat foot, but sometimes you kind of walk like this or like that. So they, you know, tested me and that made me walk back and forth, run on the treadmill barefoot just to see. But I have a neutral footing, so that's good. So I tried out about 15 pairs, and these were actually the second ones that I tried on. So after all those, I was like, okay, I do like those ones, but they're pretty lightweight. They're actually a lot lighter than these ones, which is nice, but they still offer me like the structure and support. I tried on a couple other ones that, I don't know, it was just for me personally, it felt like I was hardly wearing anything, and I don't like that feeling. I like having the support. In the store, I was like, that's the only color it comes in. It actually came in like a couple other even brighter colors, like a, I think like a lime green, and actually maybe not lime green. I don't know, or no, I think it was like a neon yellow, this color here. Anyways, so I was like, they don't make like nice neutral kind of plain tones anymore, blue, white with blue. But anyways, now I actually really like these. It almost matches one of my favorite running shirts. Actually, it matches this shirt too almost, but anyways, yeah, so I actually really like them, but at the time I didn't. And then just talking about my schedule, as I had mentioned last week, I think, well, in my what I ate Wednesday, I stepped on a bee or a wasp or something. I actually stepped on Monday, and so Monday was the day when I was supposed to do my long run, my 12-kilometer run last week, and it kind of irritated my foot, so I didn't. Ended up just doing a 5K, and then I was like, okay, this is manageable at least, but I just didn't want to overdo it. And then the next day, on Tuesday, I noticed that there was still a little part of the stinger in my foot, so I removed it, and that's when it just got a whole lot worse. Then my foot, the bottom of my foot started swelling. It was about, I had a bit of red patch this big, and it was itchy and hurting, and it was not fun. It felt, so I tried to go for a run that day because I was supposed to do 5 kilometers, and it felt like I was running and had like an extra pair of socks just like wadded up right underneath the arch of my foot. So I got 6 minutes away from the house, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was in so much pain. So I limped my way back home and ended up with only doing 1.9 miles, which is sad. So then the next day, Wednesday, it still hurt a little bit, but the swelling was going down and it was just more itchy than like really hurting. And with my nice supportive shoes, it was good. So I ended up doing my 12-kilometer run at that point. And then Zumba was on Thursday, and then Friday or Saturday I was going to do my 10-kilometer run, but I was like, since I had already missed a whole 4 kilometers, I was like, I have to get it in somewhere. So instead of just doing 10 kilometers, I did 11.3. So I didn't, you know, add too much, but I was like, a little bit. And I think on one of my 5-kilometer runs next week, I'll do like 6 or maybe even 7. We'll have to see. So I'm scheduled for a 15-kilometer today. Yay! But my foot is now 100% all healed, so I just have to make sure I don't get injured or like step on any more bees or wasps outside. I'll like try to wear my shoes in the garden more often. It's just so nice and warm, and I don't like it, but anyways. Oh yes, and then yesterday I went for a 20-kilometer bike ride as well, with kind of some elevation changes, so I was sweating. There were 2 really big hills. But aside from that, just continuing as scheduled. Now I am going to be switching this up a little bit, as it was mentioned by one of you guys on my last video not to do my kind of trial, like last minute 21-kilometer run, half marathon run, like, I don't know, what is this, 5 or 6 days before, to really give it the full week. So I'm going to be doing it on the Saturday before. So that's a whole like 8 days ahead of time. Just, you know, after such a long run, your body needs time to recover and recuperate, and you know, your joints and everything. So not even to do it like 5 days before, definitely give it a whole week. So I'm gonna switch that up, but that means I'm also taking away a 10-kilometer. I'll still probably do a 5-kilometer because that's not too hard on my body, but so that means I have to fit 10 kilometers in throughout the rest of the month. So far I've done 40.2 kilometers, which is still far away from 160 kilometers, and we're already on to the 11th, like, that's almost halfway. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. But aside from that, this week, just, yeah, focusing on my running. I did still eat a little bit. I did like some Chinese buffet, and you know, it was vegetarian, so I was only eating like a quarter of the amount of what they have. It was still Chinese buffet and ice cream, but still just trying to focus on it. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Hoping this works now, hoping I have volume, we shall see. But that's gonna be it today, and I'll see you guys next week.